Welcome back to Scottish Gas Murrayfield. There in your picture is the next instalment of our action this afternoon. It's Biggar against Stirling County in the Girls Under-18s Youth Cup Final. And if our last game is anything to go by, then we're in for a real try feast. 9 tries in the Under-16s boys final, with Curry Chieftains defeating Hoyt Youth by 32 points to 22. Now these sides are no strangers to one another, because they played one another as recently as the 19th of November, with Biggar defeating Stirling by 38 points to 10. Now that was Stirling's only defeat in the early stages of the competition, after they did beat Biggar and Dumfries Saints. For Biggar, it's really been a clean sweep of success all the way through to today's final. And in terms of bragging rights between the sides, well, they've the small matter of the Under-16s Girls Cup in the bag after victory over Stirling a little bit earlier on today. So the Under-18s now meet on the main pitch here at the National Stadium. The floodlights are on, a strip of lights across the top of the East Stand. There's a glimpse of the spectators, many of them making their way into seats at the front of the West Stand, the lower portion being populated by supporters from both sides. And I'm delighted to say that alongside me, ahead of this girls' final, is Kaeli King. And Kaeli, you were in action yesterday in your own final. We'll perhaps get to that a little bit later on, but first of all, just give me your own impressions of today, and of the importance of, you know, these two teams at the age they're at now stepping out onto a national pitch in a national final in an environment such as this.
Of course, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. You can definitely feel the energy here at Murrayfield. It is palatable, and the crowd is just waiting for the girls to come out. Obviously, Stirling will have something to prove following that loss to Biggar earlier in the season on the 19th of November. And I think it'll be a tough match. We'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, we'll just have a look at the respective sides in a moment. There's a glimpse of the mouth of the tunnel, and both sides will be emerging from the tunnel in just a few moments' time. It is, of course, a 4 o'clock kickoff. But let's have a look then at this Biggar side first of all. Freya Liskowski at the outside centre, and Emily Cobra, the number 7 in the back row, along with Holly Wilson and the captain Imogen Spence, both under-18 Six Nations players, part of the Six Nations Championship, which of course took place, I should say, in April of 2023. So they've some international experience there, and they'll be looking to make good use of that in an occasion such as this afternoon. Of course, as I mentioned, they're skippered by Imogen Spence. Her opposite number, Gemma Thompson, skippers the Stirling County side, and County will feel as if they've a point to prove, but that is a very strong Biggar side, with the likes of Logan Cully in the front row, along with Calix as well as tight head prop. Let's have a look then at the Stirling County side. Now they've got Ruby Blackhall and Maya Ledbetter, along with Ella Ray in the front row. You'll see that the numbers have swapped round slightly, with Blackhall and Ray swapping jerseys, but Blackhall remains as the loose head and Ray as the tight head props. They're captained, of course, by Gemma Thompson, the number 8. They also have an internationalist in their ranks in the form of Holly Holland, and Holly Holland's under-18 experience also coming back in April of 2023, and she incidentally is a member of the Scottish Rugby Youth Panel. So they are the youngsters that are eagerly anticipating this occasion at the National Stadium, and it's officiated by Beatrice Fernandez, Spanish-born referee who's been across in Scotland since 2018. The trophy is on the little presentation stand, which is at the front of the tunnel. There's a glimpse of the silverware, and in a little over 70 minutes from now, one of the two number 8s, either Thompson or Spence, will be lifting the silverware. tension beginning to build inside the ground, and I would imagine in both changing rooms as well, Kaeli.
Oh, absolutely. I feel before any match, just to be a fly on the wall would be wonderful, to hear what those captains, those skippers are going to be saying to their counterparts, their teammates.
Pitch in excellent condition, as you'd expect, even after the demands of the 70 minutes played just a short time ago. But the weather has been relatively favourable during the playing time inside the main National Stadium. There was some rain showers in Edinburgh this morning, but nothing too significant. One or two of the players in the earlier match were losing their footing, and that's something that I suppose as well, that and good handling is going to be very important early on, because an expanse like this, Kaeli, a pitch this size, is going to be a new experience for these girls.
Oh, absolutely. This pitch, it doesn't get much better than that, and there is a massive honour to play here at Murrayfield.
You can see the youngsters as well in the stands at the front of the West Stand, trying to peer down inside the tunnel to get a glimpse of their favourites just as they're about to emerge and take to the field. Remember, this is a 4 o'clock kickoff between these sides. 38 points to 10, as we mentioned, the scoreline when the sides met back in the 19th of November. And you imagine as well, in a final, an early score is going to be so important, because the previous game that we watched, Curry Chieftains, they got 2 tries early on, and that really set the platform for them to build a lead that became insurmountable. Absolutely.
I mean, it can definitely be said that rugby is very much a mental game, and whoever scores first certainly has the upper hand, sets a foundation for the tone of the remainder of the match.
It's a little over 3 minutes now until kickoff, and the players, I'd imagine, in the tunnel or about to appear at the mouth of the tunnel. They'll be just going through the final sets of instructions with their coaches, and a good start, and every player will want an early touch of the ball and just feel their way into the contest, because this is a level above what most of these players have experienced before, and even the international players. This is something a little bit different for them.
There's something to be said for mental fortitude of a match of this significance. There's a great honour in coming out in Murrayfield, but I imagine the players are really struggling with the nerves, the intensity, the energy. They'll be in that tunnel, just waiting for the opportunity and hoping to just shake out the nerves, get the first hit under the belt.
Well, the stadium announcer is certainly doing his bit to gee up the crowd, as many of them now just waiting. I would imagine that there'll be some nerves inside the stadium, because there'll be relatives, parents, siblings, all now beginning to think what is going to come in the next 70 minutes or so. There is a glimpse down the tunnel. You can see that the players are lined up and ready to appear, and Murrayfield's expectant. So here they come on to Scottish Gas Murrayfield then, our finalists in the Girls Under-18s National Cup Final. Stirling County RFC Under-18s and Biggar RFC Under-18s. Biggar in the red, Stirling County in the white portion jerseys with the red and black, the thinner black numbers on their backs, and Biggar in the mainly red jerseys with the black trims, black shorts and red and black socks. And as now is customary, both sets of players will go into a huddle before they will break away, and this game will get underway. We mentioned Beatrice Fernandez is our match referee. Maddie Bullen and Jess Butler have 2 assistants on the field of play. It's been cloudy overhead. It's been very, very calm. There's no flags flying at the top of the East Stand this afternoon to give us an indication of the strength of the wind as Biggar break away from their huddle to begin with. Stirling County remain in theirs, and I imagine Stirling County will be playing back in their minds the experience of the game 3 weeks ago and how they could perhaps tighten up defensively and offer a little bit more threat in attack. But Stirling County through their fly half. Emma Forsyth will get this match underway. Forsyth is alongside, as I say, a match referee who hailed from Galicia in northwest Spain, made the journey across to Scotland in 2018 to study mechanical engineering, postgraduate master's course, and an early carry there from Holly Wilson of Biggar recycling ball, their fly half. Polly Mellenby, and Mellenby was trying to escape the attentions of the Stirling defence down that left hand side. The referee will bring play back for an infringement. We're going to have the first scrummage going the way of Stirling County then inside the opening 30 seconds, and Kaeli a first opportunity to see what these sides are capable of from the set piece.
Absolutely. That was an enormous receipt of that kickoff, and then I think we can just put that knock-on down to nerves.
So from the knock-on, played in by Jennifer Black. Black has it once again, quickly through the hands of Forsyth. Forsyth who got the game underway. Ball almost caught just around head height there. Forsyth back involved in defensive work here as Biggar got 3 across on the right hand side, looking to spread the ball down the right hand channel. Iona Kane is the starting right winger for Biggar this afternoon for this final, ably supported there across on the right hand side by Annabelle Godfrey, the starting Biggar scrum half. Biggar penalised though across on that right hand side, so they retreat back beyond the 10, and a chance for Stirling to find touch across on the far side. And moments after our first scrummage, we'll have the first set piece line out. So another indication, Kaeli, of how this will pan out here. A throw in for Stirling County. Well, towards the front of the line, the referee is penalising. That was a somewhat squint throw.
What would you like, the scrum or the line out? Scrum call.
Oh, the Biggar have opted for the scrummage.
Look for someone on the channel, okay?
I think we saw from that first scrummage that at the moment, with only one scrum under the belt, that Biggar came out a little bit dominant, so I think they'll be trying to play on their strengths.
So this time it's a chance for
if you feel the gap is too wide,
Annabelle Godfrey to feed the ball into the scrum here for Biggar.
Set!
Godfrey moves forward, taps in, just at the feet of her skipper Spence. Godfrey under pressure is able to get the ball away eventually. A flat line there, but just a little too much forward momentum on the ball, on the pass. And this game still really to get into its groove. We've only played 3 minutes, mind you, but important early stages for many of these players to get a touch on the ball, and particularly if their first touch isn't too assured, they'll want the ball again quickly just to try and help settle them into the game.
Absolutely. I think some of the stoppage in the play can really be put down to nerves. Again, this is a massive match and an opportunity. They'll be feeling the nerves there.
Back on halfway, Stirling with the tap, looking for the offload. Biggar are solid defensively. Stirling again going in. Black's going to be an important figure with these recycled opportunities for Stirling. So too her half-back partner, Emily Forsyth. Back with Black again. Black trying to gain some ground, goes in once more. That's the halfway line. Ball goes loose. Black picks up on towards Forsyth. Just on the angle, Walker gets a touch. Stirling trying to spread the ball out towards the left-hand side. Referee spots the knock-on. So Biggar will have the set play on that staggered 10-metre line inside Stirling territory.
Girls,
no scoring. 4 minutes of the first half gone.
I cannot see.
Very calm around Murrayfield this afternoon. I have to say it's quite pleasant and mild for a December afternoon.
I would absolutely
Can't
agree
complain.
with that. The weather was a bit drizzly earlier, but it has certainly calmed down, and it's I would even argue it's a little bit balmy here.
Well, it certainly was a drizzly, somewhat dreich morning, but squally rain showers, and it has made the pitch a little bit slippy. Biggar then, that was just a above head height, but the 4 players back inside their own half just to try and mop up. They tried to ship the ball out towards the left hand side. Fullback is Sarah Murray. The momentum dropped just ever so slightly from the attack, but they look to try and build again. Up to the halfway line, Wilson over possession of the ball, recycled by Godfrey, the scrum half. And towards the left hand side now, some real pace injected in here from McGregor. McGregor into central position, inside the 22, away she goes, there's no stopping her, and over she goes for a try. Wonderful score, how she'll remember this moment. She's congratulated by her teammates. It's taken 5.5 minutes, but it's a wonderful score there from McGregor, and she's in for the opening try. Biggar leading by 5 points to 0. First real potent attack, you have to say, Kaeli, and she was in the right place at the right time to receive possession of the ball. But my goodness me, she's got to turn the speed on her, and off she went like a shot. She had a lot of work to do here, running more than half the length of the field, evading the challenges, and really into the 22, despite the tracking back there of Scarlett Haddo. Haddo just could not get to her.
You could just see the patience there, that she was waiting on the wings. She held her depth very well and had a clear space in front of her, really utilised that to her advantage, and was just whipping down the pitch.
Poppy Mellenby then with the ball on the tee inside the 22, and that just swings the wrong side of that left hand post. An unconverted try with 6.5 minutes of the first half gone, and we get to see this again, and she'll certainly enjoy watching this. A lovely sidestep, and then really getting through the gears. That was the important thing, because she got one turn of pace there, and then the extension and the extra acceleration on there, and my goodness me, well, it took her teammates a wee bit of time to catch up with her to celebrate. Restart. And the ball just bouncing in front of Stirling County's receivers as they go in, looking to try and clear out. So Black will become an important figure here, the scrum half, trying to mop things up. Stirling of the penalty, Biggar not rolling away. It's a chance then for them with the tap and go. But look to see what the options are. Stirling working it up towards the halfway line. Back it comes then to Forsyth, out towards the right hand side. Bit of strength required here. Holly Holland just going to deck, close towards the halfway line. Black in once more. That was an awkward ball there played for Ella Gibbons. Had to try and squat down to secure possession of the ball there. 8 minutes on the clock. Black again becoming a busy figure, so too is Emily Forsyth. Now Stirling out on this left hand side with the throwback. Norval's going to do what McGregor did at the other end, and Norval is in for a score. Anything McGregor can do, Norval can match. Emily Norval underneath the posts, and that's exactly the response that Stirling were hoping for, having conceded just 90 seconds earlier their first meaningful attack into the bigger half of the field, and it results in a minimum of 5 points, could well be 7, but already, Kaeli, we've been treated to some excellent scoring, and again some illustrations there of pace and the youth of width to very good effect.
That shows enormous field visibility. She identified that gap, took it. Look at the acceleration on her. That is phenomenal, and Stirling will definitely be appreciative. That will do numbers for their mindset to respond to Biggar's score with one of their own.
And the spectators showing the kicker utmost respect as Stirling have added extra 2 points from the tee, and Stirling find themselves in front by 7 points to 5.
We're 10 minutes in, and this really demonstrates that these sides are very well matched.
So Emily Forsyth's conversion gives Stirling County a 7 points to 5 lead, with now 10 minutes off the first half gone. And that was good work from the Stirling County team. Really from the restart, they were looking to get some meaningful possession of the ball. So Emily Forsyth then with the restart. Biggar will try and work it down the right hand side. That's the east stand, with the spectators populating the front portion of the west stand, and of course a large standing area with the technical area in use, with some of the backroom staff from both clubs, as well as the replacements sitting watching on the front of the west stand. Stirling though with their tails up at the moment. Black again looking to recycle, involving the halfbacks, looking to try and get some width on here. Out on the right hand side is Scarlett Haddo. Haddo though is tackled brilliantly. Following up there is Lajowski. Freya Lajowski of Biggar on defensive cover. Stirling have it at the moment. I feel that they've maybe learned quite a bit from the contest between these sides on the 19th of November. Biggar running out winners on that occasion. Bundled backwards there was the second row forward, Daisy Morrison, but Stirling still have it through their fly half. On there towards Maisie Walker was under a bit of pressure, and Biggar have forced Stirling back inside Stirling territory.
Under pressure.
And the advantage was played on there by our match referee. So come back for the Biggar knock on. Stirling were forced backwards into their own half, so the referee will bring it back close towards the 10 on that 15 channel. 12 minutes of the first half gone. It's been a quick 12 minutes, Kaeli.
It absolutely has. Though it is Stirling's scrum, Biggar will be looking to dominate this scrum once more. We've had 2 scrums thus far in the match. Here on the third, we'll see who takes the upper hand.
So you hear the referee in the background. Jennifer Black with the tap, feeds the ball in, wheels her way around behind her skipper Gemma Thompson. Through the hands in again. Forsyth on towards Walker, out towards the right hand side. Norval has it once more. Norval then goes to deck. It's recycled on this time towards Olivia Izone, and Izone is bundled backwards there. Snatched there. The ball was available, and Biggar were looking for the opportunity to carry forward. I think the referee had spotted an earlier knock on, so come back for a handling error, and Stirling will have the put in at scrum. But it's a game you don't want to take your eyes off it, because there's plenty going on there out on the pitch. And you have to say that if there were any nerves in the opening 3 or 4 minutes, they've all but disappeared now.
Absolutely, you are seeing 2 very confident sides, both who really want to come out on top.
Yeah, these youngsters, now mistakes will creep into the play undoubtedly, but they are offering up an open, expansive game at the moment, as Stirling again trying to work it round the corner. Scarlett Haddo, almost a tap tackle there, just slowing her up as the scrum half Black now comes across. Forwards again looking to try and take it in turns to carry, as Black goes in once again, reaches down. That was just taken down almost at knee height there, and Stirling half through. Cover there supplied by Holly Wilson on the defensive for Biggar. Back it comes again through the hands of Emily Forsyth, the fly half. Out towards the left hand side, Forsyth has it again, 2 to her left. One of them is Holland into the 22, on towards the fullback Norval. Norval could be in for another score. Stirling County are in for a second try, and they've certainly responded to conceding early. And Biggar, well, they've got some work to do in this final, because Stirling, just at the moment, are bossing the contest. It's far from an arm wrestling match. It's a very open, entertaining game, and it's Biggar 5, Stirling 12.
You saw some real patience from Stirling there, and there were a couple of phases that just worked well for them. And that 15, beautiful field visibility, again looking up, identifying the gap and exploiting that to her strength, whipping down the side of the pitch for a very confident score.
So Stirling County, an outside centre, Holly Holland and Emily Norval, have certainly had a busy afternoon so far. Maisie Walker, Scarlett Haddo, Olivia Izon, as well as Emily Forsyth and Jennifer Black, all those in the backs working very, very hard indeed. At the fullback with 2 scores. Can they add this extra 2 points from the tee? The assistants' flags are down. Biggar 5, Stirling 12. 15 and a half minutes off the first half gone. And Stirling County will get to watch this again on the big screen. And this time it was the supporting row mopping up there nicely was Holland on towards Emily Norval, and again rounding her players. The arcing run is important. We did see that as well with Curry Chieftains a little bit earlier on in the boys under 16 game. They used width to very good effect, and there's been 3 excellent tries scored, all 3 involving pace and width. And Biggar, well, they know how to win contests even when they're up against it. They're going to have to come from behind, but plenty of time. Out towards the left-hand side, that almost ricocheting off McGregor, their try scorer. Biggar have it again, up towards that 10-metre line. Scrambling in to try and get possession of the ball there as the 9, Godfrey. Very quickly, on they go once more, beyond the halfway line. Recycled again towards the fly half. Mellenby, crossfield kick, awkward but gathered. Biggar in the red jerseys, with Stirling County swarming around them. Chance for Biggar again, building from their own 10-metre line. Trying to cut a fine line there as the referee will come back. He'd played a short period of advantage there. And referee Beatrice Fernandez. At the tap and go. Biggar then with the Cobra. With the tap and go and the strong run beyond that 10-metre line. Recycled again, this time taken on by Holly Wilson. Wilson up towards the edge of the 22. Fine play there from the blindside flanker. Scrum half goes in once more. Godfrey, pass wasn't as accurate as she would have perhaps liked, but it's still in Biggar hands at the moment. Back on the 10. Little untidy spell there from Biggar, but they've mopped up nicely as it's back with Sarah Murray at full back. Murray driving up, almost losing part of the jersey there as she's forced backwards. Important spell of pressure here for Biggar. We'll get the thoughts of Kaeli in just a second as the ball goes loose. In fact, we'll hear from Kaeli now. And these lengthy sustained spells without interruption are going to be energy sapping for these players.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing a really critical analysis on players, especially Biggar, who had the ball, had possession in that sort of turn of play, where they're looking to see whether or not they have someone to offload to, or whether or not they're going to take it into ruck.
Into the 22 they go again. Biggar, you can see Holly Wilson making herself available, stepping backwards, but it goes the opposite direction there. It was trapped at the feet there of Mellenby. Out towards the right hand side, scrambling back. Biggar again looking to recycle between that 10 and 22. You can see the 2 sets of lines on the pitch there. A fine steal there from Stirling, and away they go on the fringes of the 22 up towards that 10-metre line. Real determination there shown by the Stirling forwards, collectively and in isolation. Ball just goes loose. Biggar picking up again, a good strip there from Holly Wilson. And the Biggar blindside flanker becoming an important figure at the moment. Grubber kick into the 22.
Knock on there.
And
Time off.
handling error on the
Guys,
deck,
you-
but the
there's
referee
someone on the pitch, tell
had
me,
brought
okay?
it back for an earlier infringement. I think one of the players on the pitch receiving a little
Time
bit of
off.
treatment as well, so there'll be time off, and you have to see this after 19 and a half minutes. It's flown by, but this is maybe a valuable moment or two for these players to draw breath.
This match feels like its pace is unmatchable. It is very, very rapid, and from both sides we are seeing that they are responding well and adapting to things that go wrong in the match. Lots of turnover ball, but overall really good handling and a lot of phase after phase after phase play.
You sometimes think with a final it can be a cagey affair, but from a spectator's point of view, you want something free-flowing and open, and that's exactly what we've enjoyed so far.
Absolutely.
Back into the 22, play will resume. So the referees had a relatively busy opening, near 20 minutes of the contest, but it's allowed to flow. Biggar this an attacking platform to try and get another few points on the board. Their left winger McGregor with the opening try. Two from the Stirling fullback Emily Norval. Biggar though down their right hand side, could well be in for a score here. Again, some brilliant defensive covering from Norval on this occasion, and Stirling were able to snatch and pick up. And here's an example of Emily Norval defensively covering back, tracking across that final 5 metres and stopping a certain score, because when the likes of Iona Kane and Sarah Murray get opportunities like that, they're very dangerous players. You expect the end result's going to be 5 points. That certainly was the case when McGregor scored from inside their own half of the field, receiving possession of the ball, running more than half the length of the field, and then touching down for the opening try. Stirling responding well though with 2 tries from their fullback, but the game, the momentum beginning to swing in favour of Biggar at the moment.
You have a scrum.
The players will take this break in play as a welcome relief, because as we've said, this match has just been extremely fast-paced, and each team is responding well to the opposition.
Two players off the pitch.
As well as a break, it's an opportunity, I suppose, for them collectively to assess how things have gone so far. Can see that Stirling are already warming up. Lizzie Woods and Maddie Harrop just down below us, and it looks as if they may be coming on imminently. So that would be 2 changes in 20 minutes, or 20 minutes into the game if they were to happen in the next moment or so. But they're stripped and ready, and just going through final warm-ups, some stretches and some high kicks. Lizzie Woods wearing 20, Maddie Harrop wearing 17. And they've been watching on as the action unfolds, and I suppose there can be nothing more frustrating than being one of those players on the bench for a final when you want to be on and you want to be making an impact.
There is a lot to be said, though, for bringing on fresh legs, especially in a match like this where the pace has just been absolutely relentless. We're only 22 minutes in, and I feel like this match has just been enormous.
And of course as well, we touched on the playing surface. You know, it's a big open expansive pitch. You know, the dimensions of this pitch will probably be greater than the pitches that many of these young women have played on in the past, but Stirling, certainly Maddie Harrop is going to be the first of the Stirling players stripped and on the field, so they've made a change. You can see that Lizzie Woods has disappeared back into the technical area and has got one of those long sort of sleeping bag style coats back on over the shoulders. So just the one change at the moment for Stirling County. Just confirmation, it's Gemma Thompson, the player that is making way, so that's disappointment for a skipper to go as early.
Oh, absolutely. I think that will have potentially a knock-on effect for Stirling's mentality to lose their skipper so early in a match. We'll see how they respond.
Well, the previous game as well, of course, Hoyt Youths lost their captain, the boys under 16 skipper, very early on in the game as well. And Biggar have the tap and go put in here, trailing by 12 points to 5. But this attacking platform.
Or you think we need more space? I don't know. We are resetting, okay? Same thing,
Ball
same
back
place.
then with Annabelle Godfrey.
Let's go, Biggar, let's go, girls! Right, let's go, Crouch! Bind!
So beyond the midway point
Set!
in this first half. Godfrey then
Out of the
steps
tunnel.
forward, taps,
We're
ball
resetting.
in, comes back out on the Stirling side, referee not happy.
Same thing, okay? That setup was really good, so just keep that, okay?
As a front row, I can say there is definitely nothing more frustrating when a scrum does not go your way, especially when you're exerting as much energy, as much force as you possibly can, only to have it reset and then to start again.
Well, there it's set. In goes Godfrey. Back, he's able to recycle and through the hands then of Mellenby. Central attack. 5 metres short, 4 metres short, inside those final 5 metres certainly. Biggar again looking to recycle ball on towards Imogen Spence, their skipper. See how close they are to the post just now. Referee jockeying for position. Recycle again, but another blast of the whistle, and it's good. Stirling's defence is breached. Biggar are over for a score. Stirling without the skipper on the park, and it's Emily Coombrugh who scored the open side flanker. There she is in her picture, broad smile on her face, and the power of those Biggar forwards. We get to see it again. It was taken on there by Imogen Spence, the number 8, and then Coombrugh, you see the strappings just by the knees there. Recycled, in she goes, and over she is for the try. And despite Stirling's best efforts defensively, they just couldn't stop her. This to tie the game at 12 points all. Poppy Mellenby, and she's landed one. Mellenby with the extra 2 points from the tee, and Kaeli King were all square at 12 points all.
We are 25 minutes in the match, and it is a tied match. You can see again from the replay here that Biggar's forwards just showing patience that close to the line, and a very, very aggressive take. Just powers over. A lovely try from Biggar.
Game of fine margins, and it's all square. And any neutrals here this afternoon and this early evening will be delighted. That ball bounces nicely there for Holly Wilson. Blindside flanker was able to take that into contact and plant it back. Taken on there by Godfrey. Biggar will certainly have their tails up just now. That's good power for running there from Spence. Up towards the edge of the 22. Nice recycled ball. Still they're going. Just on the angle. Referee has spotted the handling error, the knock on. So it remains 12 all, but Biggar becoming increasingly threatening it with every 40 into that Stirling 22.
That will be frustrating for the Biggar players, but that was again an enormous phase of play. You can see them chomping at the bit. They're hungry for more. They have a point to prove. But again, we go back to that 19th of November match, and it seems like Stirling has something to prove. These sides are very, very well matched.
Yeah, and what have they been able to glean from that occasion? Jennifer Black into the scrum at the foot of the number 8, but it's gone against the head, and Biggar now again looking at McGregor, this time caught in the tackle. And once more the referee with a blast of the whistle. Biggar infringement. So Stirling with the chance now to clear. Well, they elect, Forsyth elects just to bring teammates into play and trying to run it up closer to the fringes of the 22.
Number 2 offside, playing advantage. Offside.
An offside decision given against, I think it was Skye Cullen was the player who was in the offside position. So a little tap there from Jennifer Black. Away they go again. Ella Gibbons outside the 22, open side flanker, gaining some ground. Black in behind. Again, Stirling looking to bring players at pace onto the ball, but Biggar will sense an opportunity for a turnover. Scurrying across goes Wilson, protecting possession of the ball. Biggar again. Can they engineer a third try before the interval? Comes back, they've got two on the left hand side. One of them is McGregor. McGregor now suddenly has sense anticipation when she gets possession of the ball. Up towards the final 5 metres. Biggar held up. Stirling, time for them to reorganise defensively. Another handling error. And the intent remains that these sides, they're not kicking a great deal, and that's making for a very open, entertaining game, although an energy-sapping one for both teams.
I certainly wouldn't want to be on the pitch at the moment. There have been some enormous hits, and again, really great line breaks. You're seeing both sides really putting the bodies into that ruck, trying to secure the ball. But in a match where the teams are so evenly paired, every single play counts, every mistake counts.
So Stirling with the put in, under some pressure, just at the back of the scrum, but they've won the penalty at the scrummage, and Biggar having to retreat. So a scrum penalty, and Stirling this time safety first. They've got some distance, they've managed to get an exit out of the 22, and that's a touch finder down the front of the west stand. They will have the throw in, and across will come Maya Lidbetter to feed the ball into, to throw the ball in here to this line out.
They'll be looking to get out of that red, that dangerous zone, and try and keep the ball safe for as long as possible.
Well, that was towards the front of the line, but the referee not happy with the throw, the direction of the throw. And I suppose from a coaching point of view and the players as well, it's those sort of errors that you want to eliminate, regardless of where you are on the pitch. But perhaps in a situation like this, when you've had a period of the game where you've had the upper hand, you've had the lead, you've been pegged back, and you've spent a lot of the last few minutes inside your own half. Biggar then in possession of the ball. Clock showing we've played almost exactly half an hour in this Youth Under 18 women's final between Stirling County and Biggar, and it's 12 points all, and it's finally poised here as Biggar are on the charge at the moment. Stirling trying to remain solid defensively. Nice little offload there. Spence carrying into the 22. It's back now with Holly Wilson. Wilson on the angle. Tremendous determination here from Wilson. She's going to take almost everybody with her there. The ball eventually is bundled into touch. The referee had played some advantage. Back she will come to the edge of the 22. But the last few minutes in particular, Imogen Spence, Emma Cobra and Holly Wilson in that back row for Biggar have carried well, have looked threatening, and if you can imagine if there would be another score, you wouldn't be at all surprised if they would be at the centre of it.
Absolutely, they are having some enormous lines and making lots and lots of ground for their side. I think Biggar will just be looking to clean up some of those handling errors.
Biggar a little bit loose there in a passage of play inside the 22, where the Raider wasn't quite switched on with the hands. So they knock the ball forward.
It's so easy when you get that momentum as a player and play is going very quickly. It's very easy to want to continue to keep that ball in play. But Biggar might want to consider going into those rucks, holding that ball, cleaning it up just a little bit so that their fellow teammates can have time to respond accordingly.
Closing stages then of the first half. Biggar 12, Stirling 12. Emily Norville with 2 tries for Biggar. Tries from, rather for Stirling County, I beg your pardon. 2 tries for Biggar as well. Cobra, the number 7, open side flanker. McGregor, left winger. McGregor's try opening the scoring. And as I say, it was Norval of Stirling County with 2 in response either side of those 2 Biggar tries.
Still in mark.
And that scrum obviously just did not go the way that Biggar wanted it to, and Stirling trying to clear out of that danger zone once again, try and keep clean ball,
penalty,
play it safe, and here we are into the line-out.
Across comes Holly Wilson. Wilson then, the back row forward, will throw the ball in to the line-out. That's one at the front of the line, provides Biggar with the platform then for them to build beyond that 10. Central at the moment, going in again, Annabelle Godfrey. And once more Wilson. Wilson, one of the most effective players in a Biggar jersey inside the first half. First half drawing to a close, but it would be difficult to have your money on one of these 2 sides in terms of the overall outcome. Stirling playing the ball into touch there, bounces once just over the head of McGregor.
That was a really good turnover from Stirling, and obviously a kick to clearance. Well spotted as far as the breakdown and capitalising on that to regain possession of the ball.
So the match referee, remember Beatrice Fernandez, supported by Maddie Bullen and Jess Butler. And after being in consultation with her assistants, going back for an infringement against Stirling County on the edge of their own 22. It's a little tap, and Annabelle Godfrey then sets up this attacking opportunity for Biggar. Can they engineer a score before half time? Their passing needs to be a little bit more accurate than that as they're forced back closer towards the 10 metre line, and they've sacrificed some ground there as they're now building once again with Godfrey. In she goes, having a look at the options, working it out towards the right hand side. Again looking to try and apply a little bit of width, but just too much on this occasion. Forced into touch over on that far side in front of the east stand. 12 all the score, and the final moments of the first half.
You can see her frustration obviously being pushed into touch, but again Biggar responding very well to the good pressure from Stirling, and just barely being nudged out of touch can be extremely frustrating, obviously, and now Stirling have possession.
Lidbetter readies herself to throw the ball in to this line out. See a little bit breeze on the Stirling, on the flags of the assistant referees, as Stirling are able to execute the throw in just on that 22. Out they go, and once again Jennifer Black recycles ball. We've got some good carriers in there, Stirling, and they're almost taking it in turns to try and work their way forward. Biggar penalised again, quick tap, Stirling making some ground up towards the 10. Another very solid collision. 4 or 5 out here for Stirling, but they opt to kick forward. Don't kick too often, but that's effective in that there's some uncertainty there. Sarah Murray allowing the ball to bounce, but had time to spin round, play it forward. Referee having a glance at the watch. Not long now before we have a short period of break, half-time interval. Will be a little over 5 minutes, and then we'll resume.
You on the channel, okay?
And certainly both sets of coaches will be delighted with the application and the effort from the respective sides. The Stirling throw-in now comes back on the Biggar side, and latching onto it was Godfrey, and an opportunity here for Biggar inside the 22. Oh, marvellous run from the fly half. Weaving the magic there was Poppy Mellenby, and Mellenby does engineer a score before half time to nudge Biggar back in front. McGregor's try in the opening minutes of the game set us on our way, and we've watched time and again some excellent pieces of play from these backs, in particular at pace. The forwards have certainly played their part also, but how about this for a slalom run? This John Claude Kaeli stuff flying through there.
Her footwork is enormous. And again, we talk about teams that are so evenly matched, and just one error where Biggar has the upper hand, they're able to steal a line out, and the 10's response to that was absolutely enormous. A beautiful, beautiful phase of play, and very, very adaptable to playing what's in front of her.
So Kubra, McGregor and Mellenby, with that rather historic skiing reference included there, with the tries for Biggar and the conversion attempt. You see it's just on the 15 channel, and oh, that's hit the bar and is over. Oh, how significant could that be?
That is enormous, and Biggar will be taking that into this halftime chat and hopefully give them a big mental boost for the next half of this enormous match. Well done to both sides.
Well, the players then racing their way into the dressing rooms, followed by the match officials, and we've witnessed a thoroughly entertaining first half, brought to a close there, a dramatic conclusion with that wonderful solo effort there from Poppy Mellenby. Wonderful weaving run, evading 2-3 defenders, but this is how it all started. McGregor then picks the ball up inside her own half of the field, and again evading 2 Stirling County challenges. Following all the way there was Scarlett Haddo, but she just couldn't stop McGregor from opening the scoring, and McGregor first congratulated by Wilson, but this was the perfect start for Biggar.
She has some serious pace on her. Look at that. That is beautiful. And again, the knowledge of a player to hold their depth, to wait patiently, and then to look up and capitalize on the gaps in front of them. A little bit of footwork, and that was the icing on top.
Norval then, the Stirling County fullback Emily Norval, doing something similar, because picking the ball up, you could see inside her own half, an arcing run. And again, just judging, and there's McGregor tracking back. We know how quick she is, but again, she just couldn't stop the Stirling County fullback from hitting back within just a couple of minutes, of 90 seconds or so of going behind. Again, they spread the ball out towards the left-hand side quickly, receiving the ball there from Holland, and off she goes.
Beautiful from Norval, and you see as she's looking up, she's scanning, she sees that gap in front of her, and then it is all pace to put her beyond the posts.
Yeah, she was able to beat her opposite number there, Sarah Murray, and then she was in, past McGregor in for the try, and then very quickly added a second score as well from the fly half there, Emily Forsyth. Ball was eventually picked up, worked its way back to Forsyth, and again in a similar position but further down the park this time. Norval, not quite as much work to do, but again round the Biggar fullback, Sarah Murray. McGregor again with the lunging challenge, or rather I think that was Poppy Mellenby, I should say, this time with the defensive cover, but just couldn't stop her, and she was having a field day at this stage.
And you see as well that she's really looking up to see where the threats are, whether or not she needs to ground the ball immediately. She is trying to get underneath those sticks, because in a match this close, every single point counts.
And then it was the turn of the back row forwards. We mentioned Wilson, Cobra and Spence doing so well. It was the open side flanker here, positioning herself, receiving the ball from the scrum half, staying upright, and then beginning to lower from her height to crash over in between the sticks, underneath the post she goes, and she's over for a try, which after conversion levelled the game at 12-all.
And you can just see the patience from the Biggar pack here. She's looking up, that ruck is secure, and her player, they're driving her over the line. Beautiful.
So at that stage we thought, well, it could well be 12-all after a 35-minute first half.
Until this cheeky number from Biggar where they stole the line out, and again response from number 10 here is beautiful, playing exactly what's in front of her, and she just really put some gas on it, a little bit of footwork.
Yeah, step forward, the fly half, step forward Poppy Mellenby. Here she is receiving possession of the ball. Now she had the one thing in mind here, I'm going to have a go here. 30 odd metres out when she received possession of the ball, and she was direct but at times as well could just, with a swivel of the hips, evade challenge after challenge. But the one thing she had in mind was, I'm going to go for this try line. And in the Girls Under-18 Youth Cup Final at half-time, there is the scoreline. A thoroughly entertaining first 35 minutes. More of the same, please, in the second half. And it's Biggar who are in front by 19 points to 12. A reminder, they won the Under-16 Girls Final, defeating Stirling a little bit earlier on today. Will Stirling in this final get some revenge? Well, they've a bit of work to do in the second half. They've lost the services, for the moment at least, of their skipper. But it's still anyone's final. And if the first 35 minutes are anything to go by, then it's going to be in the melting pot all the way through.
We talked about earlier that in the first couple of minutes of the match you saw a little bit of nerves, a little bit of bobbling of the ball, but both sides responded really, really well and immediately calmed down, played their phase play, and genuinely it is anybody's game. It has been an enormously entertaining match to watch, to be a part of, and again to be a fly on the wall in the changing room, to hear what those skippers are going to be saying to their players, what the coaches are going to be saying to their players, because this is a very close scoreline and it could be anybody's game.
And spectators, well, it makes for a nervy second half as well, particularly if you're invested in this final, if you're a relative or a close friend of one of the players out there on the park. We'll just take a quick break before the second half gets underway in just a couple of minutes' time. But at half-time, it's Biggar leading by 19 points to 12.
Thank you. That's fine. Okay. You can walk, okay? You are doing well. You speak to me.
So that's Biggar and Stirling County back out of the changing rooms along with our match officials for the start of this second half. 19 points to 12. Remember the try scorers in that first half. Niamh McGregor, the left winger, with the opening try. Poppy Mellenby giving Biggar the lead right on the stroke of half time. Emily Courborough scoring in between those two tries from the Biggar backs. And then in between all of that, we had the response from Stirling County. Emily Norville with two excellent scores. And Biggar get this second half underway. So 35 minutes separating them from a piece of silverware. Stirling County, of course, still very much in this final. And another Stirling scoreline, or another Stirling score, converted try, would certainly level the contest. And back to their own 22, launched forward. That was an awkward one, landed in between a couple of Stirling, rather Biggar players there as Stirling give chase. Biggar down this left hand side again, looking very dangerous, could well be in for the opening score of this second half, and away she goes again. Wonderful piece of play once more, opportunist try. Niamh McGregor, who scored in the early stages of the first half, not quite as quick as the try she's just produced at the very, very beginning of the second half. But again, Kaeli, an illustration of how quick she is now. She was sharp onto the ball here, working her way around from halfway, remaining upright and disciplined. How she got through there, anybody knows. And then away she goes, flying into that 22. And there was a lot of ground for Scarlett Haddo to make up there. And it's an afternoon that Niamh McGregor's going to remember for a long time. 24 points to 12, the perfect start to the second half for Biggar.
That was enormous, and she just showed that she was very slippery but also extremely powerful to fend off those tackles, to keep those legs pumping, and then to just end it with pace. Biggar has shown up in a minute of the second half and showed that they mean business.
Well, 5 minutes into the first half, Niamh McGregor opened the scoring, and less than 90 seconds into the second half, she's added to her tally for this afternoon. So a brace of tries for Niamh McGregor, a brace of tries for Emily Norville. Ball on the tee at the moment, and then just about here a pinland as over the ball now, conversion attempt. Oh, that's nicely elevated, but just wide of the uprights. So 24 points to 12 is the scoreline, and Biggar coming out of the traps absolutely flying, and in particular the try scorer again, McGregor, again working her way through there and just wrestling away from the Stirling defence, getting into her full flow running. And again, she'd be a useful player on a sevens pitch as well, because she can run in these tries from deeper line positions.
Absolutely. You have to wonder what a score like that is going to do for the Stirling mentality.
Well, Stirling looking to try and hit back almost immediately. Ruby Blackhall wearing the tight head jersey, but playing that loose head this afternoon. She had a little carry there. Biggar now. It's beginning to open out for Biggar. Iona King just on the fringes of the pitch there. Iona King, and I think she's taking a sore one. Can see her just on her back and hands over her face. Iona King is receiving a bit of treatment there. She's bundled into touch, and she stayed down with her hands over her face there. So
that is really unfortunate.
It's going to be a stoppage early on in this second half. Biggar have made the change. Lizzie Woods has come on as well. Now, she was warming up a little bit earlier on, Fiona Lang I should say, for Biggar. Yep, Fiona Lane is the number 20 for Biggar.
The field, number 15, Sarah Murray, replaced by number 20, Fiona Lane.
And Fiona Lane is on for Sarah Murray, as Biggar have removed their starting fullback. So Sarah Murray is on.
And it's all smiles from Stirling. It looks like they'll be attempting to regroup, use this time, and they want to respond as quickly as possible to that bigger try.
Leaving the field, number 14, Iona Kaeli, replaced by number 21, Ruth Hind.
Ruth Hind is on for Iona Kaeli. So Iona Kaeli is just lifted back to her feet, and she was bundled into touch there, but it's good to see her back on her feet there. She's got her hands over her face at the moment. She'll be bitterly disappointed if that is the end of her afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
And she was certainly involved in what looked a promising attack down that right hand side, but it's resulted in her withdrawal from the game at the moment. Ruth Hind is on, so Sarah Murray has been removed, Iona Kaeli has been removed, Ruth Hind is on, Fiona Lane is on. Just confirmation of those changes we brought to you. Stirling with the throw in, but that again does not look straight. And the referee behind the line there, penalising the throw. Biggar will then feed the ball into this latest scrum, so it is back with Annabelle Godfrey.
Back.
So Kaeli, Stirling having lost their skipper in the first half, having conceded the try just before half time, conceding again right at the start of the second half. It seems to have been a damaging few minutes, and it will be a huge test of character.
Absolutely. As a player, those things, especially in a match that is this tight, can really damage your mindset, and it's so hard to sort of snap back from that. So they'll be wanting to get some points on the board as quickly as possible to get their mindset a little bit back up and get back into this match.
Referee then just jockeys for position as Biggar feed the ball in, picked up by their number 8 and their skipper Imogen Spence. Support role played by Annabelle Godfrey, the scrum half. And on they go now in support as well. Ruth Hind is doing a lot of good mopping up work now on this, and nice piece of running again from the Biggar fly half. She was almost through again, Mellenby. It was almost shades of what she did in the closing stages of the first half with another mazy, dangerous run. Stirling were able to slow her up on this occasion, but look how close Biggar are to the posts, and they're beginning to boss this final now. The tap and go once again, looking dangerous, peppering that Stirling line once more. Biggar 24, Stirling 12. Stirling defending for their lives just at the moment. The referee again just jockeying for position, and Stirling, well, they've been able to weather that storm, but they're walking a bit of a tightrope just at the moment, and composure is important. From their own try line, the ball is gathered, allowed to bounce under pressure as the ball goes loose. They come across and mop up there. That was Jennifer Black again, working her way around into position, and she'll go in again. Have a look at the players standing just behind the post now, launched forward. That's juggled, and is eventually back now with one of the replacements. This is Fiona Lane, up and into the 22. Again, the blast of the referee's whistle. In between those two channels, Biggar penalised this time. Stirling will want to try and just draw breath, compose themselves. Be aware the scoreline is 24 points to 12. Plenty of time for them to work their way back into this second half, but they can ill afford to make too many mistakes between now and the final whistle, because Biggar will punish you.
Absolutely. That was well responded to, with Stirling holding that try up, and though the kick didn't necessarily go the way that they wanted to, they responded well.
Water carriers coming on. You can see Tilda Henderson on there. Sarah Murray has come back on as one of the carriers. And Tilda Henderson is going to stay on the field as well, because she's stripped and ready. She's wearing number 19. So she'll remain on the field. So Biggar have made a further change there, introducing Henderson into the contest.
This will likely be frustrating for both sides after, as we saw in the first half, there were some enormous passages of play that were very, very fast-paced. The game was going, and I think when the match has to stop like this, it does take a toll on a player's mental fortitude.
And I suppose with every passing minute, as the scoreline stands at the moment, 24 points to 12, the advantage is increasingly with Biggar because they have that relatively comfortable lead at the moment. You know, it's a cushion. It's not insurmountable, but it is a cushion, and it requires Stirling to not necessarily throw caution to the wind, but be that little bit more open and expansive, you feel.
Absolutely. It will be really important for Stirling to respond in a clinical manner, try and keep safe ball, and hopefully get it to the wings and get out of this danger zone.
Number 3, Rugby Black Hall, and the place by number 16, Molly Can.
Ruby Blackhall has been replaced by Molly Can. So Stirling County making that change.
Some fresh legs in the front row could be just what Stirling needs.
You sometimes think as well, fresh legs and maybe fresh minds as well.
Absolutely. We talked about earlier that sometimes it can be really frustrating to be on the bench in a match this big, and you really want to get out there, but as you're watching your teammates, it could be beneficial to come because you've got that hunger, that drive, you're ready to hit the pitch running, and we'll see what she brings to this match.
So Biggar beginning to ring the changes once more, as they tend to make the changes in 2s and 3s. So they've almost emptied their bench now. Of course they had half a dozen on the bench to begin with. Still forced to make a few changes quite early on in the contest, losing the services of their captain, their number 8, Gemma Thompson. So the clock back on, and Stirling chasing a score just to bring them back into the contest, because we've not seen the best of them in this second half. That kick just ricocheting there off the legs of the Biggar replacement, Fiona Lane, into touch. So that a fortunate end result there for Stirling, because of the throw in now inside the Biggar half of the field at front of the west stand. And we've played almost 7 minutes of this second half. Biggar 24, Stirling 12, the scoreline towards the front.
Really frustrating for that Biggar player, and Stirling will be looking to try and capitalise on that mistake. But unfortunately, Biggar has had the upper hand, stealing that line out.
Deirdre Morrison with a solid challenge there for Stirling County. It's picked up and forced into touch there. Annabelle Godfrey was looking to try and get possession of the ball, but Jennifer Black, the Stirling County number 9, was close to it, and she was bundled into touch just down below us. She has the ball just tucked under her right arm at the moment, and alongside her is our opposite number, hands on hips.
We'll see where Molly Khan makes a difference here in this scrum. Fresh legs in the front row, we love to see it.
Yeah, Molly Khan is on as the replacement hooker, so it's tapped into the scrum, just at the feet of the number 8.
Well sustained.
Taken on Forsyth, out towards the right hand side, again looking to try and use some width. Holland on that right hand side, wonderful piece of running here from Stirling. Again, a side that can use width to good effect if they can get the ball out quickly enough. They've certainly got the pace, particularly with the fullback Emily Norval. Into the 22 they go once more. It's the open side flanker Ella Gibbons leading the charge. Stirling again, recycle ball. The momentum of the attack just dropped ever so slightly, but you can see on the screen the 5 metre line. They're wrestling for possession of the ball. They need something from this visit to the 22. They spread the ball into a more central position. Players peeling off towards that left hand side, making themselves available now. Across towards the left hand channel it goes as well. Eisen becomes a rather isolated figure on the left. Has to work it back into the body of the kirk, so to speak. And the referee Squats down, spots the infringement, the high challenge. Biggar penalised for a high tackle. Stirling will have the tackle and go here. Emily Forsyth very quickly, in a hurry, not surprisingly. 5 metres from the Biggar try line. Forced backwards. And our match referee, Beatrice Fernandez, watching over proceedings here as Stirling. This is a much better spell from Stirling County, and their under-18 side really needing something from this visit.
Absolutely, you can see the hunger, the sort of frantic need to get those meters, to get to that try line. And there's a wee break here on the wing, and it's into touch, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think is that Neve Reid that's on the park across on that far side, but Scarlett Haddo was occupying space on the right as well, over on that far side, and they just run out of room. Now, it happened all that many occasions. They've been able to sort of read the width of the pitch very well, both sets of players. But it presents Biggar now with a throw-in inside their 22, protecting this 24-12 lead.
And a good exit kick.
Launch forward, was a bit of a tantalising ball there to be gathered in by the Stirling County rear guard. And Biggar with the tap and go, Stirling penalised. And once again it's back with Annabelle Godfrey. And that's a kick to touch, safety first, get the ball into touch, builds a platform closer to halfway with the throw in almost directly opposite our commentary position as we are midway up the lower tier of the west stand. And we're watching on here, Biggar leading by 24 points to 12. 2 Neve McGregor tries, 1 in each half. Poppy Mellenby with a marvellous solo score just before half time. Emily Coburett with an excellent try as well. That really an illustration of the forward power of this squad of Biggar players. Out towards this right hand side, Biggar a little bit uncertain, knocking the ball forward on the deck. And when space presented itself on that occasion, Biggar were unable to latch onto that loose bobbling ball.
This could be a really good advantage for Stirling to try and take advantage of that break that they had that didn't go the way that they wanted. Biggar responded with an exit, and it'll be Stirling's put in. 23.5
minutes of the final left to play. Stirling with the put in just outside the 22, 24 points to 12. Stirling tries coming courtesy of 2 Emily Norval scores. Wheeled round towards the back of the scrum there. Jennifer Black working very hard. Stirling again just trying to work a position on the right hand side with the support cast coming in. Emily Forsyth, one of those. Back it comes again through the forwards up into the 22. Another blast from the referee's whistle. Penalty awarded this time to Biggar, and Stirling very quickly back to their feet, back into position. And Biggar just going to take their time over this restart, eat up some valuable seconds. The clock very much on their side at the moment. Biggar trying to work it down the left hand side. Oh, just again the ball around the toes of the on-rushing Biggar player. Couldn't quite gather the ball up into the fingertips there, and they regained some ground up towards that 10 metre line.
In comparison to the first half, you can see a very much frantic energy coming from these players. Just a couple of handling errors. That's going to be frustrating for both sides. What we saw in the first half was a dominant Biggar scrum, but I've noticed that coming into this second half, Stirling is really holding their own.
Are they already conscious of how close they are to the end of the game?
I imagine
regardless
so.
Of which side they're on?
Oh, absolutely. In a match like this, you'll be looking up at the clock constantly, counting the minutes. I may or may not be speaking from experience.
I think you are. I think you are. You've a lot of experience to call upon, put it that way. So it's good to have you alongside us. The thoughts there of Kaeli King of Watsonians watching on this under 18 youth final, girls final, and it's Biggar against Stirling County. The second instalment between these sides today, with Biggar winning the younger age group final a little bit earlier on, and they're in front in this one as well, having defeated Stirling County 3 weeks ago, or would it be 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 19th of November, however long ago that would be. That's at least 4 weeks ago now.
The days just fly by, don't they?
Well, given this time of year, once you get into December, you've an advent calendar window to open every day, you know. That's how you gauge life, I suppose. As, watching on here, Stirling County have knocked the ball on midway inside the bigger half of the field, between the 5 and 15 channels. So that's where they are on the pitch. The seats there are in the lower tier of the east stand, the seats you see just on the camera.
And again, that is going to be enormously frustrating for them, because they want to capitalize on these opportunities. They need to put points on the board if they are going to come out the winners in this match.
Crowd have been a little bit quiet inside Scottish Gas Murrayfield in the second half. It's not necessarily had quite the fluency of the first, despite that explosive start to the second half with Niamh McGregor's excellent second score. Stirling, though, have had, I was going to say, a fruitful last few minutes. It's been good in terms of the amount of possession they've had, but they've not been able to keep that scoreboard just ticking over. And they'll be mindful that they've had a lot of ball in and around this area near the 22 without any end product. 20 minutes of the game left to play.
Time off.
Biggar 24, Stirling 12, 6 tries in this final. Stirling are going to bring back onto the field of play Ruby Blackhall. On she comes.
Stirling County leaving the field, number 2.
And this time it's Mia Ledbetter who is replaced. So on she comes again. So, I imagine that having spent, maybe 10 or so minutes, Ruby Blackhall on the sidelines, having started the game, she's had time to watch from the sidelines and maybe extra determination. Now she's back on the park. Biggar again carrying up towards the edge of the 22. Win the penalty. Stirling have to retreat. Again, their players organise themselves defensively as Biggar take the tap. Up towards the edge of the 22. Now they look to try and inject a little bit of pace into the attack. On once more was Poppy Mellenby, looking very dangerous. Out towards the right-hand side. Ball goes loose. Fiona Lane tried to control with the outside of the left boot. The knock-on had already happened and been picked up by our match referee, Beatrice Fernandez. So it comes back for that penalty just on the edge of the halfway line. Another put in for Stirling. Try has to come sooner rather than later for Stirling, because we're into the final 20 minutes of the game now. And
absolutely.
The
clock is ticking down.
Yeah, they need something soon.
I think as a player, when you get into this point of the match, you are cognizant that you're running out of time to really put the points on the board.
Still looking to try and work something here up towards halfway. They had some width. Scarlett Haddo was across on that far side and was in open space. Looking to bring Haddo involved now. Across there on the right. Good defensive work though. Biggar playing a high defensive line, trying to force the handling errors. Stirling again though. Jennifer Black working very hard as the scrum half. Little pod of 3 making themselves available beyond halfway. Back defending again was Holly Wilson. Over the ball, Stirling needs some options. Black again. Ball goes loose now and it's hacked forward, and suddenly a bit of football played here. Biggar and their try scorer from the first half. Back row forward, open side. Emily Courborough sensing an opportunity there, but having the football skills to continue it on up towards those final 5 metres, but no means of finishing off that attacking possibility there. Biggar still have it. Across on that left-hand side, a 2-on-1 situation perhaps opening up, and Biggar using width on that left-hand side to good effect. They're in over for the score, and that try may well seal the contest for Biggar, because we've now got 17 minutes left to play and they're in for a try which makes it 29-12 with the kick to come.
Absolutely. Again, the second half, things haven't necessarily gone to game plan, and unfortunately for Stirling, and Biggar has just responded well and adapted better to the mistakes and the errors, really capitalising on a bobbled ball there and a beautiful take. They used the width got into the try, and there they have it.
2 players out on that left-hand side, and it was, you know, really the persistence, I think, of Fiona Lane in that position over on the left-hand side. A player on her shoulder into the corner for the score. The conversion right from the touchline, and this would take the game beyond the 30-point mark. Remember, the scoreline was 38-10 when the signs bet on the 19th of November. But it was close for much of that first half. And that conversion attempt just past the left-hand post there. So 29 points to 12, the scoreline. 15 and a half minutes to go.
Biggar 29, Stirling County 12.
29 points to 12 then. Does Stirling now throw caution to the wind? Any other option?
Absolutely. I feel when the clock is running down, you really need to start trying to get the momentum back. If they can just get any points on the board, it will really help their mentality.
Crowd a bit more vocal now from the restart there. Ella Gibbons trying to judge the flight of the ball. Biggar with a solid challenge coming in. Ruth Hind with the tackle. Penalty awarded to Stirling County. They're penalised for not rolling away. So a chance now for Stirling County between that 10 and 22 to launch this one forward. Plenty of height on the kick, but that is gathered before it finds touch. That was a good take there from Fiona Lane. Now inside Stirling County territory again. Biggar will feel that the game is almost theirs, almost secure now. 29 points to 12. There's still time for Stirling, but they're really climbing a mountain now, you would feel, as it's taken on by Freya Ledowski up towards the edge of the 22. Ball again goes loose. Biggar knocking forward. They can afford in some ways to be maybe a little bit more open. They won't want to be cavalier and present Stirling with any obvious opportunities to hit back immediately, but with each passing minute they know that they're that bit closer to what would be a fine double for them today, having defeated Stirling earlier in the under-16 tournament final. 29-12 the scoreline. 14 minutes of this final left to play. Set piece scrummage, Stirling County on their own 22.
Going into that scrum, Stirling will be very aware that they're on the wrong side of the pitch, and they will want to dominate and secure the scrum in order to give themselves the best opportunity to put points on the board.
Jennifer Black into the scrum, wheels round. Biggar then win the penalty at the scrum, eager to take the quick tap. On they go once more. Support cast hearing down this right hand side. One of them is Fiona Lane up towards the 22 again. The referee had played some advantage, was relatively short back. She goes to the edge of the 22, a more central position, and back it's with Annabel Godfrey. The ball at her feet, hands and hips, little tap from Godfrey. On then towards Mellenby. So sense an opportunity to land another score. Out towards the left hand side again. Could Biggar be in for another score down the left hand channel? It's been fruitful for them during the course of the match so far, with those two excellent scores from Niamh McGregor. One in the first half from inside their own half of the field, an excellent score in the second, again from in and around halfway. But Stirling are able to rip possession of the ball, turnover. Important that they do something with possession, but as Kaeli mentioned, they're so deep inside their own half of the field at the moment. They're gaining some ground inside the 22. Black goes in again to recycle ball. Back it comes then towards Forsyth. She launches it forward, bounces a few times, an awkward one, but Biggar eventually are able to pick up there. Fiona Lane wasn't quite sure, but made certain. Took the ball into contact. Back it comes through the hands. Plenty of options now down this right hand side here for Biggar, and a little bit of space for them to work in, but excellent cover defence there from Stirling as they track back across field, win some turnover ball. They're caught on the edge of the 22. High challenge picked up by our match referee Bertice Fernandez, Biggar penalised for the high tackle. Stirling will have the tap and the restart on the edge of the 22. Launched forward, played there by Daisy Morrison, gaining some ground outside the 22. Recycled by Black again, through the hands of Forsyth. Out towards the right hand side. Well, this is a fine break, an isolated figure up towards halfway. Needs a little bit of support. Biggar with the tackles. Again, the momentum perhaps maybe dropped slightly, but it's still with Stirling on halfway. Eating into the final 10 minutes of the contest. Practically 11 minutes of the game left to play. So Stirling needs something, and quickly, to set up a grandstand finish. Beyond the 10 they go once more. Black eager to get on with things. Options to the left hand side. Some wearied looking players out there that have put in a real shift on this big wide expanse of a national stadium.
No advantage there. Play in the 9.
Biggar penalised again, so this penalty is an opportunity here for Stirling to work further into Biggar territory. But I suppose, Kaeli, with each passing minute, when you've got this territory but no end product, it'll begin to eat away at you mentally.
I think Stirling may find that passage of play a little bit energising, because things were going their way. They just have to be aware that time is ticking down, and they need to execute. They need to finalise the last bit of these plays.
Mallory with the initial carry, take it on down that right hand side again, quickly through the hands of Forsyth.
In by the side.
And a blast of the referee's whistle, penalising Stirling. So they are quickly back to their feet. The referee has made another notification of a change, and it looks as if it's Rennie Guthrie that has come on. Rennie Guthrie Dover. And Ella Gibbons is the player that has been removed. So Rennie Guthrie Dover is on, and Ella Gibbons is the player that's been replaced. Meanwhile, play is back down towards the final 5 metres in the Stirling half of the field. 29 points to 12 into the final 10 minutes of the contest. Stirling uncertain inside their own 22, and the referee penalising them 5 metres or so from their own line. And immediately over the ball now, Annabelle Godfrey, the Biggar number 9. Little tap on end towards Holly Wilson. Holly Wilson, we've not seen quite so much from Wilson in the second half, but there she is, underneath the posts. You felt that one of the back row players was going to add to the earlier score from Emily Corborough, because it's really been a show of the skills of the backs. But in the back row, there's been none better than Holly Wilson, and she'll be delighted, although she's not giving too much away with the expression on her face. But that score takes the scoreline to 34-12 with the kick to come, and a very deserving player to score a try today.
There's some real depth in that Biggar squad. We've seen tries from both the forwards and the backs, and Holly just absolutely powering through. She had the hunger, she wanted that point, and unfortunately it just didn't go Stirling's way.
So this kick coming almost right underneath the sticks, and Biggar have bossed this second half. They've been clinical, they've added the extra 2 points there, and that's an excellent conversion attempt there. So Poppy Mellenby has added the extra 2 points. 36 points to 12 is the scoreline. 8 minutes of the game left to play. So from Biggar's point of view, the game well and truly won. And you have to say that the decision over who player of the match is going to be difficult, because there's plenty contenders out there.
Absolutely, there have been some enormous displays of real clinical rugby here. Wonderful performances from all the players on the pitch today.
And a player clearly with a spring and a step there. Holly Wilson was bouncing, the studs bouncing up and down off the turf there at the restart, as Stirling are able to win possession, mop up. Wilson's over possession of the ball there, trying to just protect the advantage that they have at the moment. So Stirling again from just outside the 22. That was taken on there by Smith, one of the replacements for Stirling County. He's come on the field of play. Good tackle in there by the tight head prop there as well for Biggar. And once more it comes back quickly through the hands. Stirling eager to get on with it. Holly Holland has stopped in her tracks and it's mopped up by Black. Now some wearied looking players there, but still trying to work a way forward. A play right to the very end. Black goes in once more. Back it comes again through the hands of Forsyth on the 10. Stirling gaining some ground on that 15 channel up towards halfway. Black again recycles. Stirling players just forced backwards by the sheer pressure of this Biggar side, who thought they'd perhaps an opportunity to go forward, as one of the Stirling players is down receiving a little bit of treatment, but now sitting upright, and we've got just under 6.5 minutes of this final left to play.
Replaced by number 22, Kaeli King, and number 17, Natasha King.
Are we happy? Yes, we're happy. Cool.
So both sets of players in a huddle, as this is one of the rare moments in the game where there's been an injury stoppage. It's and that's one of the good things about this game. You know, there's been one or two players that have picked up knocks. I'm thinking of Iona Kane. I think it was earlier in the game where she was tracking down the right hand side and was making some good ground, but picked up a knock and made her way off the field of play. And it looks as if Sarah Murray, who left a short time ago, is going to come back on for the final few minutes, the starting Biggar fullback.
Yes, do it now. Let's go.
Can see as well, stripped, and may well be coming back on. Ella Gibbons, no, she's gone back to the front of the technical area. In fact, Ella Gibbons, Stirling back row forward.
Sorry. Okay, are we good now? Let's go, big push. Straight, girls. Crouch! Bind! Sit!
Play resumes then with this put in at the scrum. Unable to get some free ball there, as Natasha Kim is on, taking on the scrum half duties there. Ball knocked forward, and we've 4.5 minutes of the game left to play.
Some good pressure from Stirling's defence there. You can see that the match is not lost for them. They've still got their hunger. They still really have a point to prove.
Crouch! Bind! Sit!
Sometimes have to watch what you do in the commentary box, because if you forget you've got a massive rucksack behind you, you can end up toppling backwards. It's just a bit. Had there not been a bench in the way, I could have flattened Bruce Miller, who's going to be in the commentary seat just in a short period of time for the next instalment in this finals afternoon evening here at the National Stadium. You could have been finishing the final on your own there. That wouldn't have been a bad thing.
Commentating can be a contact sport.
It was not a tackle. She was ripping
the
off
dangers of commentary.
It was an unplayable ball.
Keep things away from your feet in the commentary area. Biggar 36, Stirling County 12. Inside the final 5 minutes of this final. This, of course, a reminder, the under-18 Girls Youth Cup Final at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. Some of the Glasgow Warriors players have made their way to sit just in front of us. They're watching on, so showing their support for these youngsters. And I suppose you have to say, regardless of the outcome, it's going to be an afternoon and evening that these players are going to remember, being part of this atmosphere and playing in this arena.
Absolutely. Again, there's no better honour than getting the opportunity to play at Murrayfield, and the talent on show certainly is going to be putting me out of a job in just a few years.
Well, you've still some work to do, I think, in a Watsonians jersey, as we're watching Stirling County now. And Emily Norville, who's been a quieter figure in this second half, but scored 2 excellent tries in the first half. She gets back into position, having tried to work her way into the bigger half of the field, bundled into touch. And
Guys,
with
have a
3
step.
minutes on the stadium clock left to play,
That's good.
36-12 the scoreline. Back through the hands there of Natasha Kim. Kim, one of the bigger replacements. Stirling still putting the tackles in, still real determination on the faces of these Stirling players. Going right to the end, they'll be sick of the sight of Biggar, I'd imagine, at various age grades, given what has happened in recent times, but they win the tap and go, so how they would love a score in this second half. Without a score in the second period so far, but 2 excellent, well executed scores in the first. Biggar this time, drawing in the penalty, ball taken into contact, no release.
A very good contest from Biggar there.
2 minutes of the game left to play. The Biggar players will be well aware that the clock is ticking down, and they're just moments away from walking up the steps at the front of the West Stand at Scottish Gas Murrayfield to pick up the silverware and a winner's medal. And we're going to get the announcement of the player of the match.
11,
Neve McGregor has been awarded player of the match, and you can understand that for the 2 excellent tries she scored. 1 in 5 minutes, 1 a minute into the second half. And all credit to Neve for the opportunism. Really 2 excellent scores, and she'll remember this afternoon for a very long time indeed.
Absolutely. From Neve, we saw some really great footwork, but also just knowledge of the game, an ability to look up, to scan, to play what's in front of her, and to utilize gaps to her advantage. Absolutely well deserving of player of the match.
Now, if you want.
Ball knocked forward there. Stirling counter referee having a glance at their watch. This will be the last set piece of the game, you would imagine,
Do you want the subs or no?
because the stadium clock into the final minute.
Time off? Which team?
The referee
Stirling,
called for time
11.
off.
No, time is off, don't worry. 11, Marshall, speak to me. 11 and walk.
I hear her crying 11, so
19, Stirling.
there's going to be a replacement.
Is that already done? Time back on. That's
Gauging
fine. Let's
down
go,
on
girls.
the touchline to see what is happening, and I think there's
Crouch!
possibly going to be a replacement, or the referee is certainly now allowing the scrummage to take place, but there's a suggestion there might well have been a replacement before this scrum.
Early.
Free kick
It's your
awarded
ball.
to
It's a
Biggar.
free kick for you, okay? Back 10 meters.
Stirling then retreat.
That's good.
Biggar take the quick tap. Final fling then from Biggar, just above head height. Ball again goes loose, but it's down the left hand side. They managed to get some good width into this latest attack.
That's good.
Down the left hand channel over the 10. Play continues and taken on by Holly Wilson, one of the players that was certainly in the reckoning for player of the match. That was almost stripped here by Emily Norville. She managed to get in the way and almost ripped possession of the ball. So we've played according to the stadium clock anyway, and by our watch we're into the red, and it's Biggar 36, Stirling 12, and the referee with one blast of the whistle will go the way of Biggar. Biggar one final attack, perhaps an opportunity to get 40 plus points on the board. They're certainly playing to the very end.
Absolutely. At this point, Biggar have their tails up. They see the try
Don't want to
line
see that,
just
okay?
beyond their
No
reach.
pulling.
And Stirling wins some turnover ball. Natasha King was readying herself, but I think Biggar have managed to snatch it back again. Looking so dangerous, and dangerous enough to land a try practically on the final whistle. A lunge to the line. The Biggar players, you can see them on the touchline, ready to celebrate. There they are, 41 points to 12 with the kick to come. They're ready, they've been waiting for this minute. The game, you have to say, has been well and truly won for some time now, but that score takes them beyond 40 points.
One final try for Biggar.
we get to see the score again into those final 5 metres. Support play from the fullback and the pick and lunge to the line, and despite the covering defence from Haddo and from Forsyth, there was no way of stopping that Biggar score. Ball on the tee, just goes underneath the bar. The referee then blows for full time. Biggar begin their celebrations. 41 points to 12. Those that were watching on the sidelines in Stirling County, they come back onto the field of play as well to join their teammates across on the far side. It's a contrasting set of images here as the Stirling County players begin to console one another. Biggar celebrate a famous victory, and the silverware will be heading west to Biggar rather than north from Edinburgh up to Stirling. And Biggar will enjoy this evening having collected the under-16 silverware and now the under-18s women's trophy as well, with a fine victory in the end. 41 points to 12, and you can't deny them this moment of celebration.
Absolutely, that was a very decisive victory at the end. I mean, in the first half we saw that both teams were really evenly matched, nearly going into the first half with an even scoreboard, -1 try there at the end. But Biggar in the second half came back and just dominated. They did not come off the accelerator. It was a demonstration of player of the match, Niamh. There's one of her tries, a beautiful, beautiful break down the line.
It's coming just a minute and a half into the second half. Again, a great turn of pace there, and it was how she engineered the opportunity, because there she was facing away from the post, facing her own post, and then she manages just to duck down, get through that Stirling defence, and then she's off into running. And this is what we mentioned, you know, in terms of an exponent of the sevens game. That sort of pace and open prairie in the sevens would certainly serve them well. Then almost a misunderstanding there between Cobra and Mellenby, but the ball appearing on that left hand side, and Biggar again using width to good effect from closer to the post on this occasion. Recycling ball inside the 22, looking threatening, penetrating at this stage, and but at this stage in the game with this score you felt the game was theirs. Another little tap here from the scrum half, and this was a well-earned score as well, because Holly Wilson has worked so hard during the course of the afternoon.
Absolutely, we've witnessed Holly Wilson put in some massive hits, and Biggar's defence have done enormously well. Holly demonstrating that she is a good and unbeaten player on both attack and defence.
And this is the try right at the end of the game, but a clear out, and again the defensive cover there of Haddo and of Forsyth just not enough to deny Biggar another scoreline. 41 points to 12, and those Stirling players, well, I mean, they'll be delighted to have got to the final. Remember, they beat the likes of Gerrach and Dumfries Saints on the way to the final, but it's another celebration, another cause for celebration at Hartree Mill, with Biggar lifting the silverware this evening. The presentations then are about to get underway, and it will be Niamh McGregor that will be first up, still with us, bringing her step. There she is, coming up the steps to the front of the front portion of the West Stand, and she'll be delighted to have picked up the Player of the Match award. 2 excellent tries, she'll enjoy watching those again. Big smile on her face, well done there to Niamh. Mike Bruce, CRB representative there, just presenting her with her prize. She passes the cup there, and she'll head back down the steps, and our skipper will be lifting the trophy. Imogen Spence, in about 5 or so minutes time, she'll be lifting that cup, and the Stirling players will be next up. One by one they'll receive their runners-up medals.
though it can be disheartening, Stirling have played an enormous match, and again there's been such a wonderful display of talent today, and they have a very deep squad and they have a lot to be proud of. Stirling players just receiving their medals now.
So one by one, the Stirling County players receiving their runners-up medals. And more than a nice keepsake, as they're you see Niamh Reid, and now in the picture Lisa Woods. Fullback Emily Norville scored 2 excellent tries. Ruby Blackhall, who's replaced and then came back on in the closing stages. Olivia Porter as well. Scarlett Haddo worked very hard indeed. I mean, all these players put in a real shift this afternoon, and they got accustomed to the surroundings very, very quickly, because, you know, sometimes you can be a little bit overawed, I'd imagine, if you're playing at a national stadium. The next grouping of officials to come up and receive their medals for the day are Beatrice Fernandez, Maddie Bullen and Jess Butler. The referee and the 2 assistants who've been assisting and officiating over this final, 70 minutes. And then the small matter of the victorious Biggar side coming up and receiving their trophy and their winners' medals. So one by one they will receive their winners' medals. And the first one up there is Emily Cobra, who of course scored an excellent try in the first half, just before Poppy Mellenby's score, which really maybe that was the turning point in the game. We didn't maybe realise it at the time, but the try being scored practically on the half-time whistle. It was 12-all going into the final minute of that first half, and then suddenly Biggar had an advantage at half-time, and they didn't relinquish that at all in the second half.
Absolutely. I feel that try must have really bolstered their enthusiasm, and they came back and never let up on the accelerator in the second half. Biggar just completely dominated. Some very happy faces there. There is nothing like receiving a winner's medal here at Murrayfield.
Yeah, I mean, these under 18 as well, they'll be thinking about future opportunities, and as we mentioned, some of these youngsters have played at international level. Holly Holland and Emily Cobra, Freya as well, Flea Lajowski, the outside centre for Biggar. All international players. But how about this as a moment of celebration? Biggar lifting the silverware. Imogen Spence round very, very quickly to lift the trophy. Big broad smile on her face, and I'm sure over the last few weeks they've been thinking in their minds about this moment and how they would act and how they would react to the crowd in front of them, and a very healthy crowd here, substantial in number, and appreciating every moment as well, soaking it all in as well they might.
Such a great display of talent today, and again, playing in a stadium this big with this energy. Maybe the first 2 minutes of the match we saw some nervous energy, but then Biggar became calculated.
No doubt there'll be further interviews just down pitch side. Biggar players now down with the obligatory winners aboard, and they'll just stand behind that and there'll be these images on social media over the course of this evening and tomorrow. There they are, National Youth Under 18 Cup winners. Biggar will need a slightly larger trophy cabinet, I would imagine, at Hartree Mill, given the silverware that'll be heading in that direction the course of this evening. And Stirling, all credit to them, disappointment, but they put in a real shift, and they did look threatening in that first half, and you know, coming from behind as well. That early McGregor try, Niamh McGregor scoring in 5 minutes, but to hit back with two excellent Emily Norval scores, and to be level with a minute to go to the interval. We really at that stage didn't know what to expect in the second period, but they just couldn't back it up with a similar display in the second half.
Absolutely. It'll be unfortunate and it will sting a bit, but there's a lot of talent on show with Stirling, as is Biggar. Emily Norval will certainly be one to watch, but they can hold their heads high knowing that they gave it their all, and many congratulations to Biggar. Look at those smiles of the victors.
Well, they'll lift the trophy once more. They won't tire of doing that, I'm sure. We'll get some reaction from pitch side as the bigger players then, many of them retreating, but I'm sure many will be more than happy to talk about their emotions. They're going to visit family members now just at the front of the West Stand. Many have drifted down to congratulate their teammates and congratulate their family members, and I think one of the first people to hear from will be the player of the match, and of course that was Niamh McGregor.
So I am joined here by Niamh McGregor, who is named player of the match. Niamh, many congratulations. How are you feeling after that fantastic performance?
I feel amazing and to play with the girls and win.
And you scored two fantastic tries here out at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. How did that feel?
That felt amazing. I don't know how I pulled off the second one.
Well, it was fantastic, and obviously you've had an amazing support here from the club. How does it feel to have everyone here cheering you on today?
It feels good. I've got my mum and dad, got the coaches supporting and the whole team, and it's great to be here.
Excellent. Well, many congratulations again, our player of the match, Niamh McGregor. Well done. And we are now joined by Imogen Smith, the captain at Biggar. Imogen, many congratulations on the win today. It was a fantastic defensive effort, if anything. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're feeling after today's game?
Yeah, I'm so proud of the girls. We said we were going to be a brick wall, and we tried really, really hard just to keep them out, and I feel like we did a good job. Not perfect, but the score, that was, pretty perfect.
And obviously the under-16s team also won the cup today. So how proud are you of the whole club for these two title wins today?
Oh, so proud. I mean, the girls' side is just blooming, and the club, we're just so grateful for the opportunities that we're given, and we hope we've done the club proud. So.
Well, I definitely think you have. Many congratulations. Enjoy your celebrations.
So there we are, the thoughts then of Imogen Spence, the victorious Biggar RFC under 18s girls captain. Before that we heard from the player of the match, Niamh McGregor, with two tries, one in each half. There's a reminder of the full-time score. Commiserations to Stirling County. A thoroughly deserved achievement though for Biggar this afternoon. Too strong, particularly in that second half. It was very much in the melting pot right up until the interval, but Biggar really bossing the second half and running out in the end by 41 points to 12. Thank you very much for your company this afternoon. Bruce Miller and Tom Brown will be in the chair for the next instalment, which is coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. Just a reminder that that will be the Boys Under-18s Cup Final between Boroughmuir and Stirling County. That kick-off is at 6 o'clock, but from myself and from Kaeli, thanks for listening.
Thanks so much. Have a good night.